Hey, yeah, we going big, going big. We going big, going big. We going big, going big. Don't trip, gotta get it how you live, hey, yeah.
Welcome to the Let's Think About It podcast, where high achievers stop performing and start transforming. I'm Coach Mo, certified core energy leadership coach, founder of the Inner Arena and creator of the SWAG framework. Self-awareness, why power, aligned action, and grit. Around here, we train your mindset, challenge your limits, and turn pressure into purpose. Subscribe now and join me on YouTube at Swag Coaching. So let's get your reps in.
We going big, going big. We going big, going big. We going big, going big. Don't trip, gotta get it how you.
Welcome to another episode of the Let's Think About It podcast. I'm your host, Coach Mo, and I'm here with another amazing guest, and her name is Valerie Dumont. Valerie, how are you?
Oh, as I said before, because we just chat a little bit, I'm super excited those days. So yeah, I am full of energy and so looking forward about the future. So yeah, I'm
That's
fine.
awesome. I hear an accent. Where are you checking in from around the world?
Yeah, very far from you. I'm in Europe, in Switzerland, the French part of Switzerland. So that's my accent.
Nice. I love it. I love it. What's one great thing you can tell us about Switzerland?
It's very small. So first of all, it's very small, and we have three main languages: German, Italian, and French. So and three different cultures. So it's always difficult to understand each other. And then, as it's very small, things are closed. I live 5 minutes by the lake. So 5 minutes walk, and I'm by the lake enjoying a walk. And I live 15 minutes from the ski slopes. So it's really great.
That's nice.
Yes, it's really nice.
That's awesome. Do you ski? Do you ski a lot?
A lot. The whole winter, every single weekend. Of course, I need that.
That's great.
I do a lot of sports. Do you train? Do you work out?
I'm a sports guy. I do work out, but skiing isn't one of those sports that I partake in. I'm in California.
Of course.
We don't really get snow here. I'm not too far. I'm about an hour and a half away from South Lake Tahoe, where it snows up there.
Yeah.
I've never been a snow sports guy. I'm a football guy, and I'm a basketball guy.
Oh, basketball. I love that. My son do some basketball with his friends, and he really loved it, but he doesn't love the competition. He loves to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I love watching him, but he doesn't want me to support him. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So tell my audience who you are, what you do, and the type of value that you bring.
Okay, so I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years now, and I have a background in marketing and in business and economics. And I've worked before being my own boss. I worked in the corporate world, of course, having a career, burning out twice. And then I realized I need to be my own boss and have my own company because I don't fit in. And then at the very beginning of my business, I was a social media consultant. It was the beginning of social media here in Switzerland. So I was one of the first one to be a consultant. And today, over the last 10, 12 years, I have not been a coach, but more a sparring partner or a mentor, helping entrepreneurs to find more sense, leading their company with their values, their whys, and with less stress and pressure, outer pressure, inner pressure as well, and less ego and so on. And today I understand why we have done over the last years, all those inner work, because knowing us is so important today in the age of AI. So yes, Here is what I'm doing. And now I think this summer I'm going to train people, help people understand how to build their AI employee from the inner to the outer world, from their inner governance. So I'm very good at helping people detect what's stuck in there and how to build a system that's sustainable, whether it's their own living system or their company. I only work with entrepreneurs and small business companies, a little bit of solopreneurs. Sometimes they are coaches, but yes, mainly they have a small business with 2 or 3 employees.
Thank you for sharing your background. One of the things that stood out to me, you mentioned burnout a couple of times. You burned out a couple of times. How did that affect your executive presence in that time in the role in dealing with burnout and how you showed up?
Oh my God. It was very hard because the first time I was 25, I'm 50 today. So I didn't understand at the moment what happened. I was sitting on my couch on a Sunday morning and I couldn't move anymore. I have no more energy. My brain was not working anymore. And I was really lost because I've been such an over performer and achiever for the first part of my life. And so this first burnout didn't affect me unless it was on the physical part and the energy part, but I didn't do anything. Yes, I started to do coaching, personal development, but at the brain level and rational part. And okay, it was the beginning, but 3 years later, I was facing exactly the same issues and felt exactly the same. And at that time, I had no choice than to leave the corporate world to know myself and know what I value and who I am. And then it's only when I became an entrepreneur, I built my own company and I started all those stuff, real deep questions. Who you are, how do you want to serve, who do you want to serve, what are your values, what is your, why are you here right now, why do you why does your soul embodied at that time, and those deep questions. And then I realized that to live this life I'm meant to, I have to be really present, which means more than my brain can understand at that time. It can only be with my body, within my body, with my breath. And this is the kind of presence it taught me, but I have to deprogram my brain for that. And it has to accept there's another way of being and to do stuff. And because everyone around me was into this performance stuff, perfectionism, and so on. And I couldn't be that because it has absolutely no hand. So, yeah.
Help me understand this. So you're working for a company, you're getting burned out, and then you decide you want to be an entrepreneur, right? You built your company from scratch and whatnot, right? But there's a different type of pressure when you're building your own company, right?
Yeah.
How did pressure show up in that sense and managing burnout from that place?
Yes. And the thing is that the burnout signs were, they never left me, because even today or this week when I'm overexcited about stuff, I can feel here between my solar plexus and my heart center, I can feel when it's contracted. And this contraction has a little vibration, and it's the signal that I'm not aligned and not present, and that my brain is working hard. It's for me, it's like that. So I teach my clients to understand how it is for them, because we are all different. So I would
You're
like to
teaching them the signals, how to recognize the
Yes,
signals of
absolutely.
burnout before the actual burnout happens.
Yes, because the body, even last week, one of my clients said, "Oh, I had a migraine and I keep on pushing the whole day, but I had such a headache and so on." And she said, at one point, I couldn't bear it anymore, and I allow myself to stop working to go to bed. And I was like that, oh my God, so crazy, because she was pushing so hard on herself. And she realized that she didn't work very good. She was not performing or doing great because she was fighting herself because she thinks she has to. And so then we work on that, on recognizing what are the signs for her, because the week was hard. And what happened that made this headache be so hard on her? So yes, to piggyback to your question,
Oh, you're good.
the pressure for me as an entrepreneur is the only pressure that I have is my ego telling me when I'm not aligned, or when I'm afraid of something, or when I don't know, those days I'm waiting for client payment and I don't know why she's late. And I worried a little bit, but then I want to tell her, hey, listen, girl, it's not the way I'm working. So if you want to work with me, you don't voicemail me for 1 week and pay after. First of all, you pay and then you can voicemail me. But that's the kind of pressure that I have, but it's only thoughts and noise, and it's not really true. I don't have any pressure because I'm living here in Switzerland. I am safe right now. We are at the beginning of the month, so I have paid all my bills. I know what's coming, and even if I don't have any clients maybe right now, I know that I need 2 or 3 just to have enough money for the month. So what is the pressure? The pressure to what? Produce a podcast at one date because no, I am free. I am free. If I don't want to produce or send a newsletter on Monday because I do it each single Monday, okay, I'm not going to do it. So I have no I have no pressure.
That's great because I like what you said in teaching your clients how to identify the early signals of burnout. Typically, the burnout comes from the internal pressures that we create within self. And I have my process as well too, and that's the SWAG framework: self-awareness, white power, aligned action, and grit. And that's the signal, because people often think that burnout is we are very tired, we need more rest. In my opinion, burnout happens over a duration of time in which I consider energy leaks. And as you mentioned, we create this inner pressure. So here's what I mean by this. Let's just say you're going on an interview for a job and you land the job, okay? Interview went great, you got the job, you're excited about the job, okay? Fast forward, day number 1, you have to show up. You're carrying all of this nervousness because you don't know what to expect. And you're worried if you're going to be successful on day 1. And so when you get there on day 1, maybe you carry this excitement, but a little bit of anxiety. Am I going to be able to perform to the excellence that they hired me to do? So that's a small piece of internal pressure that I'm starting to put on myself. So now I'm in the organization for about a month, right? I show up every day trying to prove myself so that my boss knows that I'm more than capable of doing the job. And I say yes to everything to show everybody that I'm capable of doing the job. As I continue to say yes, I'm creating more pressure on myself, right? Because the other internal baggage that I'm carrying is, one, I can't say no. Number two, I have to show everybody that I know what you hired me for, and I can't afford to ask anybody for any help because I need to prove my worth that I'm capable of doing this job.
Yes.
That's the internal pressure, right?
Yep.
And the fact that you're carrying this, it makes it hard to let go and start to trust because you're carrying this internal narrative that I have to be XYZ. That's fueled from that inner critic. That's saying you gotta push, you gotta push, you gotta push. In return, you're in this new job, which should be a happy time in your life. It's shifting toward a weight of overthinking, overfunctioning, decision fatigue, and it really starts to affect your executive presence and how you lead people around you. And that is how I define the burnout that starts to affect
Yeah,
us.
it's the very beginning, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely. And ultimately, your swag is off. Your
Of
swag
course.
is off because
I
number
love
one,
this swag stuff.
you know what I'm saying? It's off.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's off because your self-awareness in the moment, you're overthinking and overfunctioning, and you don't realize that you're doing that because you're so caught up in the moment of trying to prove yourself. Because you're in the moment of trying to prove yourself, you often become distracted away from your true purpose and why you're even there. When you're distracted from your purpose, your aligned actions become a little bit stagnant and you're a little bit off the mark. And then you become this worrisome being that makes you feel that you have to be competitive.
Yeah.
And so your grid is off because now you're trying to grind harder. So in all, your swag is off. And that creates this drain over time, though.
Yes, of
Over
course.
time.
And add to that a partner, kids, commuting, I don't know, a move, or whatever, or health issues, but because of course it will end with health issues. So yes. And you said something that had my attention. It was expectations. You start a job and you have expectations. What kind of expectations do these came from? Because the thing is that the more I have expectation, the more I put pressure on myself.
Yeah.
If I can do something about this situation, because the thing is that I have absolutely no control on what can or will happen. The only control that I have is my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then my thoughts will rewire my emotions and then my behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the famous triangle. So, yeah, if I have expectation, what kind of expectation? I have the expectation that my brother called me for my birthday. And each single time, he doesn't call me. So what can I do for that?
Yeah.
I start a fight, or I release my expectation. And if one day he wishes me happy birthday, I will be so happy. So let's release expectations. I have expectation with my mother-in-law, with my child, with everyone. I have expectation. I even have expectation with this client that doesn't pay me right now. If I release my expectation, I can feel my shoulder so much lighter.
But look, you made me think about something when you were saying expectation, because this is a show that we take it deeper in thinking about this stuff. Here's an expectation that often leaders put on themselves. The expectation that they need to be liked as a new boss or as a leader. That expectation that they put on themselves makes them become hesitant to have difficult conversations because they start creating this judgment that if I do have this difficult conversation and it doesn't go well, then I won't be liked. And then that becomes an internal pressure that people carry because they want to be liked and accepted as a leader. They avoid micromanaging. But as a new leader, you have to micromanage because if you don't know the processes and you're new to an organization, you have to get into the weeds of what's moving forward and what's going on, aka micromanage, until you understand the processes and the people who are working the processes. From that standpoint, trust is established. And when trust is established, you can back off because they view micromanaging as a bad narrative approach to leadership. They avoid it because they want to be liked. And that's not necessarily true.
Absolutely. Each time we tell ourselves a story, whatever the story is, here in this case, it's I need to be liked and appreciate so that I can be the best leader of the company. Okay, so first of all, what is a good leader? Where does this story come from? What is your role as a leader? And why do you need to be liked? Why? Because you need recognition, you fear rejection and so on. But I just put it here, so I don't know what the good answer. But the thing is that let's ask ourselves those right questions and reframe it. What's this inner dialogue and this pressure? Because it's really damaging our lives, the companies, our team, or their team, and it's not doing good to anyone. So, yeah.
I think it's also looking for external validation from outside inward, right?
Yes.
Instead of establishing what's important to self, understanding your values, understanding what your purpose is and your goals and things like that internally. Let that become the driver of your decision making, not being validated by the people you work with that are around you for them to like you. And because they like you, it makes you feel good. And that's how you're going to make your decisions moving forward. I think that's how leaders show up, and it makes it difficult to make these decisions on the fly because there's this hesitancy, right? And this is how it affects your executive presence and how that trust gap becomes wider because your employees can see when you hesitate. They can see when you're not confident. Actually, not see, they can feel it. They can feel it in your energy.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. Feel. Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you want to be liked. That hesitation to have the conversation, people feel that.
Yep.
They feel the nervousness.
Yes, absolutely.
And then over time, slowly but surely, that's what's creating the burnout. It's those little energy leaks, the hesitation, the overthinking, should I or should not, the overfunctioning, the decision fatigues of uncertainty, and the doubts that we naturally carry in those moments because we're trying to be liked. Over time, that's what affects our burnout.
Yep. Can you feel in your body, like right now, your values, your power, your strengths, your talents, and so on? Can you feel it right now in your body?
Absolutely. But you have to have consciousness of your body to know that you can feel it.
Because if you only understand where I want to go is because if you only understand what are your values, strengths, and so on, skills, and it's only here, and it will not create the inner security you need to embody your leader posture. So maybe I don't know how you work, but I love to, because I'm a sport girl too. I love to put my clients on the buzzy ball, the half ball cut in the middle. This training stuff. I love to put them on it and you have them do some squats and so on, because they have to find their balance and then go back inside and feel their power from this balance. And now they are in their body. And I say, okay, now tell me who you are, who do you work with, who you are as a leader, as an entrepreneur, who you are when you speak your truth. And you can see the results in their face because they feel it, and you see their brilliance, and it's so great.
In a nutshell, you're helping them pause and reset.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times when we're in these roles as leaders, we're putting out a lot of fires. There's a lot of noise happening within our organizations, and a lot of times we have no control over it. But that ego is telling us, we got to do this, we got to do this, you can't stop, you got to put this out, you got to do this, got to do this. I don't have time to think about that. And what you're doing from listening to you is you're helping your clients strategically pause and ask themselves these questions. Because if you can take the time to answer those questions from within self, right?
Yeah.
Now you're gaining more purpose and understanding values, so that when these critical decisions happen that needs to be made in real time, guess what? You're naturally more confident because there's that alignment that's created from the pauses.
And you can take the right decision, which is the most sustainable one. Because when you keep on being the firefighter, you are under pressure, your nervous system is exhausted, and you just react. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it's just a band-aid on blood, but it's not sustainable at all. And it drains everyone's energy. So
I think that's why we are extremely valuable professionals, whether we're a coach, whether we're a mentor, whether we're a consultant, because we help clients just pause. And without that pause, you're naturally reacting to everything. And over time, that's what creates the burnout. You don't necessarily see it happening in real time because you're distracted from your self-awareness.
Yep.
You're distracted from purpose in these moments. And the ego, the inner critic, is louder and louder, and it's coercing you to just push through it. Ignore the signals that you're feeling. Don't listen to that. Let's listen to me.
They are very good at that, at making us ignoring body signals. Even if we have an angel talking on our shoulder saying, oh, you should rest, or you should see a coach, or you should blah blah blah, but the voice is whispering, and we can't listen to, we can't hear it. So it's really crazy how it works. Do you face burnout too?
Oh, yeah, always. Not always now, but in the past. Actually, that's how I got into coaching, because I lost a job, right? And before I was introduced to coaching, I was stressed. I was burned out and trying to find another job. And then this worrisome feeling that I was carrying, that I'm not successful, this imposter syndrome that I'm carrying, all of that became overwhelming, and it put me in this deep funk. And that's a form of burnout too, because
Of course.
my days was consumed with me thinking I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That affected my confidence and how I showed up. And I was always worrying, where is my income going to come from? When am I going to get another job? And blah, blah, blah. Why did this happen to me? Blah, 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 blah.
Yes, and the more you thought about it, the less opportunities arise. Yeah.
And the coaching kind of helped pull me out of that rut. And that's what transformed me to want to help other people that are in situations of being burned out like the way I was, and help them get out of that situation. Even to this day, I created a burnout mirror assessment where you have an opportunity to take this free assessment and it prints out an archetype of the types of burnout that you may be carrying. It's pretty cool. It's free. Anyone can take it. It's at the innerarenaleadership.com/. You take it. It takes about 5 minutes to take, and then it just prints out an archetype description of what your burnout looks like. Even if you are in burnout or you're not, it prints this archetype, and it's just an avenue to start the conversation. It's an avenue to create awareness that I got some leaks. Let me holler at Mo about my leaks that I may be experiencing. And that's it.
Yes. It sounds great, really. I have to have a look. And yeah, I'm really into it because my sister-in-law is, yes, on the
So
intro.
as we get ready to wrap up, what are some lasting thoughts that you like to share with the audience?
Oh, yes. People are overwhelming and doing more, and they are stuck in the hamster wheel, and they have no time to listen to the angel. And one thing that they can do now, because it's really riding everywhere, so hire some AI employee, not to do more and not to put more pressure on you, but to get some free time to think. Or to go to visit you without the culpability to leave your work just in the middle of the day to meet your coach. So yes, I offer you some free time with AI employees because there are so many stuff we can delegate to them to be more present with our team, with our clients, with ourselves too. If we don't have any moment to rest, to think, without the pressure, the inner critic, and the ego, we will burn out. So, yeah.
How can my audience find you?
On my website, Being is the New Doing, or .com, or on my French website, which is translated in English, valeriedumont.ch. So, yeah. And on Substack, if you want to read some articles. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you. Oh, it was so great. I love your energy.
Yeah, thank you. This was a great conversation. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good day.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
That's another rep in the inner arena. You didn't just listen, you leveled up your swag, self-awareness, why power, aligned action, and grit. If this hit home, share it. Subscribe to the Let's Think About It podcast and lock in with me on YouTube at Swag Coaching. Until next time, stay aware, lead with your why, act in alignment, and keep your grit strong.
We going big, going big. We going big, going big.